Good morning, welcome to Planet Mojo. Today we're going to install that mini split on that tiny house. Okay, I think I have everything I need. Got the hoses here, recharge, hardware, a lot of stuff in there. Vacuum pump and Nylog blue, miscellaneous other stuff. We got our watertight ends there, a few tools. All right, let's go get this thing installed. Okay, I learned from the last one that these units, these screens really get in the way, and this back one was much harder to put on than the front one. So what I'm going to do is screw, I have those galvanized lag screws, going to get the back ones in, right about to this level, and then I can slide it onto that, and then the front should just drop down onto these hanger bolts, these right here, because they don't have a top on them. You could put the top on afterwards. It should drop right onto them. That's my theory though. I'm hoping it makes it easier than the last time. I believe the last time I had to take both screens off, or no, yeah, it was just the front, and I'm hoping I don't have to do that. I got the wire connected to the unit. You have to fish the wire through the back of the unit, and then they have terminals, and you have to actually look on this one to get the color coding, the outdoor unit, and you slip those into the terminals and tighten it down, and then these will get connected to the outdoor unit. I have to connect the piping, bend that, and get it under the building and run it along over to the unit over there. That is probably going to be the most difficult part. I'm not sure. I haven't done one like this yet. I'm going to have to connect it with metal strapping, which means I'm going to be laying on the ground. So I have to go get my kneeling pads for that. Yeah, this is going to be a pain in the butt. I don't think I'll be able to get to the recharging today, but we'll at least get this thing installed. And at a later date, we're going to see what we need, how we have to do this. I figured in an emergency, if I can't run them tubes underneath here, I can just bend it and run them right along this. We don't want to do that because it's going to be ugly, and we're going to have like a lattice work attached to this. So hopefully I can run that underneath, and then it'll just pop out right here and then go up and into the unit. Okay, yeah, this is going to be a little more difficult than normal. All right, let me go get a couple things and we'll get our bolts in the back here and get started. Actually, I think I'm going to get a drill and pre-drill that down a little farther. If you've never used hanger bolts before, it's half lag screw and half bolt. You got to put a couple nuts on it and jam them together to tighten it in, but then you take that off and all you have is the threaded part sticking out. I could not find these in galvanized, so I had to go with stainless steel, but they're going to make the job much easier. Okay, anti-vibration pads. This is basically an anti-vibration unit, but I'm going to put them on anyways. It'll keep them elevated from the wood, which will hold some water. They go like this because the hole is at the very end of the foot, and the foot extends this way. So if you put them on the other way, most of this is not doing anything. So you want to put them on about like that. Only thing is, I can't remember if I put the unit on and then kind of rocked it and then put these under it, or if I put them on ahead of time like this. We'll try it this way, and if it doesn't work, we'll do it the other way. And these have to be on to start with like this, but I'm going to go get some tape and tape them up like that, so I'm not messing around with them while I have that big unit here. And that'll be about it. Just put the unit on there and tighten it down. Oh wow, that was a million times easier than last time. It's a little tight back here and a little warm because of this siding, but I can deal with that. You can't really get a socket on it once you have the unit on here, but I measured the thickness of the pad there and this thickness, and it came out to 7/8. So I just put the bolt about an inch, or it was actually a little over an inch out of the wood. So I didn't have too much of this to do, but I had plenty of clearance to tip it so that the front would go on the hanger bolts. If it was too tight, I wouldn't have been able to tip it correctly. And then the front, just have to put the washer and the nut on it. Still can't get a ratchet on it though, but that's fine. Bada bing, bada boom. The compressor unit is installed and it's looking nice. It's going to be a little difficult to get our stone and stuff in here, but it is what it is. This is a tiny house on a tiny space, so everything is a little more difficult. So now I got to get a wire. I'll be coming out of the bottom of here and looping it and coming up, I believe, yeah, it's right here. And then, like I said, this is going to be the hard part, going underneath there. And then I'll come up right here and that'll loop in right to here. It comes in kind of at an angle like that. Yeah, it'll be interesting, but we're going to start over here. This is for the electrical wire, but this is what I'm looking for. And we're going to get a cover for this, but not right now. I want to make sure that it's installed the way I think it's going to be installed. The cover kits come with different elbows and stuff, and some of them have elbows that go underneath like that. And if I don't need that particular kit, I'll get a different one because they have like spare stuff with them. And I'm going to be installing 2 more mini splits in the next couple weeks, so we may need them for that. Okay, they want you to pack this stuff in around the pipes there. You do that after you get everything installed. And this is what you tape the pipes together with. And these are the refrigerant lines. This is the drain line. And that should be it. Got a plug in the bottom there. Oh, yep, we got a plug off right here. Hopefully there's nothing in there. This was in the house all the time, but very well may have dust in there. That sucks. Okay, let's get this attached. First thing I need is the Nylog Blue. This is some really nice stuff. It never dries and it seals up your joints. The very first mini split that I installed, I had a little leak in it, and by the time I found that out, it had leaked enough refrigerant so that it never worked all that good. I should have recharged it, but it was on a bracket on the second story of the house, so just never got around to it. So now I am gonna seal these threads. Well, actually it's not the threads. The threads really don't do anything on flare fitting like this. The threads are just for tightening it up. You would have to put your nylog on both ends of the flare and then tighten it up. So we'll put it on here and on the mating surface on there. I don't know how that plug got loose. But it did. Okay. And this Nylog Blue will not contaminate the refrigerant system if any gets into it. So you don't have to worry about that. Alright, I don't want to goober it on, but I don't want there to be too little on there either. Yeah, with a flare fitting, the threads don't seal it at all. It's all in the flare. And you got to tighten it down, loosen it up a little bit, and then tighten it again in order to get a good seal. All right, we'll go put some of this on the other end and get these put on. Okay, just a note, these interior units, they'll make a sound when you take these caps off. I believe they're filled with nitrogen, but I don't know if they're under pressure or if that's a vacuum, but it'll make a sound when you take these caps off. Oh, I should use a better wrench than this, but I don't want to go get one. It worked just fine on the other one, but not quite big enough. You could hear a little bit. The other one hissed quite a bit. All right, now for some Nylog blue, which is actually clear. Trying not to get it in the hole, but it's not going to matter if it does get in there. There's a spec that these should be tightened to with a torque wrench, but unfortunately my torque wrench, well, I don't have clawfoot adapters or clawfoot wrenches for mine, so I just have to tighten it up good. And when I had the one that leaked, I had to go back and tighten the piss out of it, but I did not have the Nylog blue back then. And you can over tighten, so you don't want to do that. All right, loosen it up a bit. And all this does is smashes soft copper against hard brass. A little tighter. Okay, that's gonna do it. And then we'll get some zip ties and close this up. And then we will slowly bend it down to here. One thing about not having the caps is that I don't know how far they come out. I would like to make the most gentle bend that I can on this, but we'll play it by ear. Okay, this is the hard part. Got a little bit of this wrap on there. I don't really like that stuff because it's not tape, so it doesn't stick to itself. Well, it's not tape or like that stuff that does stick to itself. I forget what it's called, but and we're hoping we don't have any kinks in there. I don't think we do. Actually, I think I'm gonna cut this open and make sure that I don't have any kinks. And this is the water line. Just got to make sure that that's going downwards, and it is. but we'll jam it under here a little bit. Okay, we can see it here. No kinks. This bigger one, I'm not sure if you're going to see that or not. This bigger one has like a coil around it, and the little one is just fine. That should be good enough. I'm sure that cover will cover that. There we go. Make sure that drain is in the right place. Yeah, I don't know why. This stuff is just like a ribbon. It doesn't stick to itself and it doesn't have adhesive on it, so you have to have something around to tape it together, or you can do the whole thing without it. So I got to put some straps on here, and I'll have to put them as tight as I can to the sides, because I'm not exactly sure how wide that cover is going to be, but it should be wide enough. It's been 3 days since I last recorded. I decided I really needed to have this on hand and know how it attached and everything before I should continue, and I'm really glad I did that. These attach from the back. You have like a clamshell, half of it attaches to the wall, and then the line goes through it, and then the other half goes on top of that and covers it up. But we're going to open this up. It's kind of windy today. It was a beautiful day when I started this video, but I think we're going to be good on that side of the tiny house. Possibly not underneath it where we're going to be running that line, but if so, we'll just put it on time lapse and there won't be any sound. So let's open this up, take a look, and then get all the stuff loaded back onto the gator again. It all had to come over here while I waited, and now we got to get it back over there. Let's open this up. Okay, it's just a bit too windy right there, so we'll do this here. Yeah, all the parts get connected to the building first, and then they have a cap, including that neck where it comes out of the building. That's a splice, and that's an end cap. I'm not sure if we're going to be using that end cap. What I'm thinking we're going to do is just run this down to the bottom. I think I explained that, and then run the tubing underneath the building. So I'm trying to get out of the wind. This is all pretty self-explanatory. This was a pretty cheap kit because all we need is about 6 feet, maybe 7 feet, and it has to go straight down. There's really elaborate kits, but like I said, we don't need those. All right, let's get all this stuff packed up, head over there, and we'll get those back parts put on. Okay, got the back half on, and I got the front half on this. Actually, I should take that off because I did not put that packing in there. I don't think it's gonna matter though, but I can always foam it right here till these caps come off. So this just pushes in there, but I got to get this routed underneath the building so I can get it up against the building there. So let's get that done. And then I got these big brackets. They're 1.5-inch conduit brackets, if I can find them. Here they are. I had one laying around and I tested it, and it's a perfect fit for the little bundle there. So I got a couple more. That should be all I need to attach that to the grade beam down there. And I'm going to use these, what are they? Number 14 by 2-inch T30 big old screws to attach them to the grade beam. So let's grab this stuff and get busy. Wow. My control wire is just barely long enough. I mean, it'll work just fine, but oh, that's good. All right, now these wires get attached to 1, 2, 3, and one goes to the ground, and then the power coming in goes to line, neutral, and ground. Okay, we got our waterproof flex line. I had the wire in there like a whip, but it kept falling out because this is so short. So you get your nut on there and your compression fitting, and then the ferrule screws in to the end. It's got threads on it. You can put a wrench on it instead of a pliers like this, but I'm too lazy to go get the wrench. Then pop that in there. And then my wire, I'm just going to shove this back through the other end. Hopefully it'll go through all right. A lot of times it'll bounce up against the insides of these fittings, but we'll give it a try. Otherwise I'll have to tape it off. All right, we're gonna tape it up. And there you have it. If you're wondering about the sun angle, it's the next day. It was getting dark last night and I couldn't really see what I was doing, so I just stopped last night, came back this morning and got the last little bit wired up in here, did a little more with my refrigerant lines, just getting them tucked in, getting zip locks on them and stuff like that. Real nice and neat installation. I need to recharge this, and that's going to involve putting a little valve on here, and I have a recharge tank, but first I have to evacuate the system, which is taking a vacuum line and pumping it down and all that stuff. And that stuff will be in a new video. I can't do that for a couple days. I have a bunch of stuff to do in the dwarf orchard today. But this stuff is pretty flimsy stuff, but it does the trick. It's paintable, so we're going to paint it this blue color down to here, and then just leave this white. And then, like I said, we're going to have white lattice work down here, and it'll blend right in. You won't even see it. Very good. Yeah, and this caulk has browned up. So while we're doing that, we'll repaint some of this caulk and this caulk here. But the Minisplit looks really nice, or the installation. Hopefully the refill goes really well and we'll be done with this project. We do have a roof to repair. I don't know if I mentioned this, but that's on the short list. That little vent combing has to be removed, and I have to do some reshingling up there. We're also going to cover this trim on both ends. We're going to widen it up a little bit, just put some filler on there, and then cover it with the white metal like that. And then we have the siding on the other side to do. We're putting a porch in. This is all within the next couple of weeks. Everything was waiting on this project, and this project was waiting on the weather. And it's finally almost done. So, recharge video is next on this, and then we're moving to the other side and getting that siding on. Then we're going to be doing that roof stuff. So if you want to see any of those videos, make sure you subscribe and click on the update icon. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you put them in the comment section below. And if you share the video and or give it a like, it helps the channel out greatly. Thanks for watching and have a great day.